I want you to just picture this for a second. You open your eyes, you glance over at the clock on your nightstand.
And just a cold wave of pure, unadulterated panic washes over your entire body.
Yes, exactly. Because you have somewhere incredibly important to be, and you have completely, hopelessly overslept.
It's the absolute worst feeling.
It really is. Your heart rate spikes, your brain starts doing this frantic, like high-speed math of travel times and traffic patterns.
Plausible excuses you can text people.
Right. And it is just this universally understood, highly physiological human experience.
Because it's that abrupt realization that the world has started without you, and you are, well, you're already losing the race.
Totally.
The cognitive load in that moment is staggering. I mean, your brain is instantly forced to abandon whatever baseline reality you were in and just shift into pure survival mode.
And that exact moment of panic is where our source material for today's deep dive begins.
Which is such a funny place to start.
Right. But we aren't looking at a psychological thriller here or some high-stakes corporate memoir. We are looking at a collection of transcripts from an audio course.
It's called English Practice World, right?
Yes, exactly. Hosted by these two guides, Emily and Paul.
And, on paper, the stated goal of this material is incredibly straightforward.
Yeah, it's a language learning program.
Right. It's designed to teach non-native speakers the simple, natural English dialogues used in everyday situations. It's mostly meant to build confidence through repetition and common vocabulary.
But when you actually read through this transcript from start to finish following this one central character, a young woman named Anna, through a single chaotic day, you realize you aren't just looking at vocabulary words.
You're really not.
No, you are looking at a cultural artifact. Because by following Anna, we are going to uncover the unspoken social scripts that every single one of us follows just to survive our daily lives. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, let's do it. Because the transcript drops us right into the deep end without any preamble.
Zero warning.
The narrative anchor here is Anna waking up at 8:30 in the morning. And she has a class that starts across town at 9:00.
It's a total disaster. Anna realizes she's late, and instantly her mom transforms into what I can only describe as the crew chief of a NASCAR pit crew.
That is the perfect analogy for it.
I mean, there are no good mornings, there's no, how did you sleep? The mom just immediately jumps into action, and the language strips away all those pleasantries.
It's a brilliant sociolinguistic case study, honestly.
Why is that?
Well, because it illustrates how foundational language shifts under extreme time constraints. We drop what linguists call phatic communication.
Phatic communication.
Yeah, it's the small talk we use to establish social bonds, like saying hello or, commenting on the weather.
Oh, right.
But when time is scarce, phatic communication just vanishes.
It vanishes completely. It's all rapid-fire problem solving. Like, Anna says she can't find her brush, and the mom doesn't offer sympathy. She just instantly barks that it's on the table.
Right, she's just solving the immediate crisis.
Exactly. Then Anna panics about her wrinkled white shirt, and the mom just volunteers to iron it quickly. She is directing the chaos like a 5-star general.
She really is.
She tells Anna to grab her bag by the door, forces her to take a snack because there is like zero time to actually sit and eat.
No time at all.
Reminds her to take her phone, her jacket. I mean, she even takes out her smartphone and confirms a taxi is coming via an app in exactly 3 minutes.
And if you notice the grammatical structure of that entire exchange, it is almost entirely composed of the imperative mood.
The imperative mood, like commands.
Exactly. Go wash your face, grab your bag, don't forget your phone. The imperative mood is the language of commands. The mother isn't asking for Anna's input or offering choices here.
No time for choices.
Right. She is constructing a logistical bridge using words as literal scaffolding to get her daughter from the bedroom to the classroom before the clock strikes 9.
Wow. Yeah. She acts as this like external hard drive for Anna's panicked brain. Anna can't think, so the mom thinks for her, using these blunt force sentences. Isn't it amazing how the language of a family in the morning is almost entirely made up of urgent commands like that?
It really is. The vocabulary here isn't about deep emotional connection or nurturing.
No, not at all.
It's about literal survival in a time-bound society. The mother's language becomes a tool of sheer utility. She's establishing a safety net that catches Anna when her own time management completely fails.
And it totally works. I mean, Anna makes it out the door, but this brings us to a really fascinating thematic shift in the transcript.
Yes, the big transition.
Right. We move from the private safety of her home, where she has this incredible pit crew compensating for her mistakes, into the completely unforgiving public sphere.
because that social safety net vanishes the second she steps into our classroom.
It evaporates.
And that transition from the private to the public sphere is where the transcript really begins to explore the mechanics of accountability.
Yeah, so Anna arrives at school, and the teacher immediately asks her to answer question 3 about a reading article.
Of course, it's question 3.
Right. And Anna has to admit she started the reading, but, didn't finish it. So she tries to use the oversleeping as an excuse. She explains she rushed to class.
Hoping for some of that grace she got at home.
Exactly. But the teacher is entirely unsympathetic. He notes firmly this is not the first time and demands she manage her time better.
Ouch.
Yeah. She has to grovel a bit, promise to do better next time. And then a classmate actually steps in and answers the question for her, later whispering that Anna is lucky he didn't get mad.
Just think about the massive shift in power dynamics there.
It's huge.
At home, Anna's crisis made her the center of attention. Her failure to wake up basically rallied the entire household's resources to serve her.
Right, Mom dropped everything to iron a shirt.
But in the public sphere, the institution does not care about her internal crisis. The teacher's phrase, "This is not the first time," that is the language of documented structural accountability.
It's going on her permanent record.
Exactly. It signals that her personal life is no longer an acceptable excuse for failing to meet institutional demands.
So she is immediately forced to adopt the syntax of deference. But I have to push back here on how we are interpreting this language course.
Also,
Because if we look at what happens next, it gets even more intense. Immediately after this scolding, Anna runs into a friend. She mentions she's tired but has to go straight to her shift as a waiter because she, quote, needs the money.
right.
She arrives at the restaurant, apologizes for cutting it close, and instantly slips into her worker persona.
The hustle begins.
Yeah, recommending the grilled chicken, fetching water, bringing the check, processing the card. I look at this and I wonder, are we teaching English? Or are we just aggressively programming people for the harsh realities of modern capitalism?
That's a fair question.
I mean, it feels almost cynical to me, going from a scolded student to a subservient waiter in a matter of hours.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, you're identifying a concept known as the performative burden, or emotional labor. But I would argue it isn't cynical. It's a necessary linguistic survival guide.
A survival guide. I mean, she goes from being a scolded child in a classroom to taking orders from complete strangers. What do you recommend? Our grilled chicken is very popular. It just feels like teaching subservience.
To a degree, it is teaching the mechanics of the service industry, which, let's be honest, is a massive part of the global economy.
That's true.
What the curriculum is actually doing here is teaching the art of code switching.
Code switching.
Yeah. Anna is learning to seamlessly swap her identity based on the economic context of the room. In the restaurant, she absolutely must use the language of transaction.
Oh, I see.
Notice the shift to the passive voice and indirect questions. She doesn't walk up and say, "What do you want?" She says, "How can I help you?" She doesn't say, "Give me your card." She asks, "Will that be cash or card?"
Because the indirect phrasing softens the transaction.
Exactly. The syntax of deference is designed to basically erase the worker's own needs and center the comfort of the paying customer.
Wow.
The dialogue captures the relentless, exhausting hustle required of the modern student worker. Think about it. She is constantly apologizing for her humanity.
Oh, you're right. For oversleeping, for cutting it close to her shift.
She must suppress her own profound tiredness just to facilitate someone else's leisure time.
Okay. That completely reframes it for me. The ESL curriculum isn't being cruel, it's being ruthlessly pragmatic.
Very pragmatic.
Because if you move to a new country, you don't necessarily need to know how to debate philosophy on day one. You need to know how to ring up a credit card and placate a manager so you can, pay your rent. The language of survival in a modern economy is transactional.
It is the absolute linguistic reality of the hustle.
Which makes the brief interaction with her friend so poignant to me.
Oh, I love that part.
Right before Anna goes to the restaurant, she tells her friend she's exhausted but needs the money. And the friend just replies with one single word: respect. It's such a tiny detail in the transcript, but it acknowledges this shared burden in such a real way.
That single word is a micro-validation. It's the camaraderie of the grind, really. The friend isn't offering to solve the problem or give her money.
No, they're broke too, probably.
Exactly. The friend is simply bearing witness to the performative burden Anna is about to shoulder. It's just a shorthand way of saying, I see you participating in the system, and I validate the toll it takes on you.
Wow. So Anna survives the public sphere. The performative burden of the restaurant shift ends, and our deep dive shifts back to the private sphere, back to the language of caregiving and family.
Right. She goes to pick up her little brother from a daycare playroom.
We get a very standard, reassuring exchange with the caretaker here. The caretaker notes he was very active today, but ultimately a good boy.
Very typical daycare debrief.
Right. They do the handoff, they head home, and they sit down for family dinner that the mom has prepared. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, the flower story.
Yes. Embedded right in the middle of this highly practical language transcript, there is this bizarre, almost sitcom-like side story.
It is so out of left field.
It really is. Someone at the table recounts how a guy came out of a kitchen completely covered in flour head to toe and just casually announced, "Dinner's ready."
And the response from the family is great.
Yeah. They say, "Did you actually eat it? You were brave." And the storyteller says, "It wasn't half bad."
I mean, it is so random. We were just talking about institutional accountability and processing credit cards, and suddenly we have slapstick physical comedy about baking.
It feels completely disjointed if you only look at the surface. But structurally, it serves a really profound sociolinguistic purpose.
Really? How so?
This is how we use narrative as a tension release valve.
Oh, like a linguistic palate cleanser.
Precisely. After a day of rigorous, high-stakes transactional exchanges where every single word has an economic consequence, this anecdote operates on a completely different frequency.
It's not about survival anymore. No, it is the language of leisure. Human beings use the sharing of mildly absurd, low-stakes stories to just decompress. Telling a funny story about a guy covered in flower signals to everyone at the table that they are finally in a safe, non-judgmental space.
Where language can be playful rather than utilitarian.
Exactly.
It's a way of physically shaking off the waiter persona and the student persona. You aren't serving anyone anymore. You're just entertaining your family.
Right.
But, even with that safe space established, the dinner table isn't entirely relaxing, is it?
Not at all.
As I read the rest of the dinner conversation, it felt to me a lot like a daily corporate debrief, but just disguised as family values.
That is a very sharp observation. Because the family dinner is often idealized as pure leisure, but it is actually one of the primary mechanisms for socialization.
Yeah, because the mom asks how her day was. Anna mentions the classes, the work, the fact that she learned new English words. It's literally a status report.
A daily stand-up meeting.
Yes. And what does the mom do with this information? She immediately pivots to reinforcing social obligations. She says, "Good. Don't forget your responsibilities."
The discipline kicks in.
She reminds her to finish her homework early and not to stay up too late. Anna even absorbs this completely and tells her little brother that they can only play games after her homework is done.
See, the pit crew chief from the morning has returned. But now she is acting in her role as the enforcer of the social contract. The mother is providing food and comfort, yes, but she is also enforcing discipline.
So the home isn't actually a sanctuary from the hustle, it's the training ground for it.
Exactly. The socialization doesn't stop just because you are off the clock. The mother is using language to ensure Anna remains a productive, compliant member of society.
Don't forget your responsibilities.
Right. It's an imperative command wrapped in maternal care. It is a gentle but firm reminder that the machinery of the public sphere resets at midnight, and the hustle will resume tomorrow morning.
Wow.
The family unit is ensuring its members are prepared to re-enter the capitalist system.
It never really stops. We are always preparing for the next shift.
Always.
Which brings us to a fascinating thematic bridge into the final scenario in the source material. We've seen Anna navigate the high-stakes agency of the public sphere and the disciplinary comfort of the home.
Right.
But what happens to our language when our agency is completely physically taken away from us? That's what makes the final dialogue in this curriculum so compelling. We move away from Anna's specific routine and into a universally dreaded experience, a trip to the dentist.
The transition from social vulnerability to absolute physical vulnerability.
Exactly. A patient goes in and they've had a toothache all day. The patient's language is reduced to basic physical states. They literally just say, "I feel bad and tired."
Stripped down to the basics.
The dentist finds a small cavity and promises to explain everything step by step.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is how the specific language of medical reassurance functions as a form of psychological control.
The dynamic is just so strange compared to everything else we've seen in Anna's day.
Well, think about the physical reality of a dentist's chair. You are lying supine, a bright light is in your eyes, and your mouth is literally propped open.
It's terrifying.
You cannot speak. You are stripped of all the conversational tools you usually use to navigate the world. You can't apologize like Anna did in the classroom. You can't negotiate. You can't tell a joke to break the tension. You are entirely passive.
You just have to lie there while they use the suction and tell you to spit.
And in that space of total loss of agency, the authority figure must deploy a highly specialized linguistic script. I call it verbal anesthesia.
Verbal anesthesia, I like that.
The dentist must simultaneously issue dictatorial commands while profoundly comforting the patient to keep their nervous system from just completely panicking.
The contrast is wild, honestly. The dentist is giving strict, non-negotiable orders. Open a little more, don't move your head, don't close your mouth.
Very demanding.
It's as commanding as the mother in the morning. But at the exact same time, they're layering in these soothing phrases. Don't worry, I will help you. It won't hurt. Please relax.
It is perhaps the only social situation outside of emergency medicine where someone is forcefully invading your physical boundaries while verbally coddling you.
Yeah, that's so true.
The steady rhythm of the commands, mixed with reassurance, literally downregulates the patient's anxiety. They are doing the psychological work before the chemical anesthesia even kicks in.
That makes total sense.
And the vocabulary reflects that dual purpose. Notice how the dentist describes the anesthesia itself.
Oh, right. When the patient points out that their mouth feels numb and they can't feel their tooth, the dentist replies, "The nerve is asleep now."
Yes.
That phrasing stopped me in my tracks when I read it. The nerve is asleep. It's almost poetic. It's like a lullaby for a medical procedure.
It's a deliberate, metaphorical softening of a harsh physical reality. The dentist doesn't say, "I have chemically blocked the pain receptors in your jaw."
No, that would freak anyone out.
It would induce clinical anxiety. Instead, they use a metaphor of rest. Asleep implies temporary, safe, and natural. The language acts as a buffer against the violence of the drill.
But then the procedure ends. The tooth is fixed. The dentist gives some standard authoritative life advice. Brush twice a day, don't eat too many sweets. Here's a prescription for painkillers to take after meals.
The standard debrief?
Right. The verbal anesthesia wears off, and then bam, reality hits.
We return to the baseline state of the world, the transaction.
The transaction. The patient asks, "How much is the filling?" The response, "It's $50. You can pay at the front desk."
The illusion is broken.
The illusion of the unconditionally caring authority figure just completely evaporates. You are no longer a vulnerable human being comforted by a healer. You are a consumer settling a debt. You are right back to the transactional reality of the restaurant, cash or card.
It grounds the entire experience, and really, it brings the curriculum full circle. You can receive care, you can be comforted, your nerve can be gently put to sleep, but eventually, you have to walk up to the front desk and balance the ledger.
You always have to pay.
The language of economics always has the final word.
It really does. It is a perfectly structured narrative arc, disguised as a simple study guide. Think about the incredible, sprawling scope of these English practice dialogues we've analyzed today.
It's a lot of ground to cover.
We started with the sheer chaos of an overscheduled morning, examining the blunt force utility of a NASCAR pit crew wake-up call. We moved into the unforgiving public accountability of the classroom, where excuses hold no weight.
The harsh reality of the public sphere.
Right. And then we explored the performative burden and code switching required to survive the hustle of the service industry. We retreated into the private sphere, seeing how we use absurd stories like the flower anecdote to bond.
And how the family dinner table serves as a daily corporate debrief for societal discipline.
Yes. And finally, we ended up completely stripped of our agency in a dentist's chair, soothed by verbal anesthesia, only to be hit with a $50 bill.
It is the anatomy of a modern day, mapped out entirely through the exact syntactical phrases required to survive it.
It's incredible. So I want you, listening right now, to take a moment and think about your own day today, from the moment your alarm went off to this exact second.
Think about the scripts you've used.
Exactly. How many of these specific pre-written social scripts have you already participated in? Did you issue an urgent command to a family member? Did you adopt the syntax of deference and apologize to a boss or a client?
Or maybe you played the storyteller.
Did you share a random, mildly funny story just to decompress with a friend? Did you quietly hand over your credit card at a counter?
If you reflect on it, you likely hit almost every single one of those beats without even thinking about the language you were using to do it.
So what does this all mean?
Well, it leaves us with a rather profound philosophical question to consider. If a person learning English can successfully navigate the vast complexities of our society simply by memorizing these conversational scripts, By knowing exactly when to deploy an apology, when to issue a command, and when to ask cash or card, it forces us to hold a mirror up to our own behavior.
That's a slightly terrifying mirror.
It is, because it asks how much of our daily existence are we actually living as our true, authentic, spontaneous selves? And how much of the time are we just actors on autopilot, flawlessly reciting the lines society wrote for us, terrified of missing our cue or, waking up late?